Late this afternoon, Virginia Democrats filed a motion notifying the state Supreme Court of their intent to appeal today's ruling, throwing out Virginia's redistricting referendum.
Yeah, the Democrats, led by Virginia House Speaker Don Scott, along with Attorney General Jay Jones, filed that motion asking the state Supreme Court to pause its ruling from taking effect while they appeal for an emergency hearing before the U.S. Supreme Court.
For more insight into the Virginia Supreme Court's decision, we're joined by Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey.
Julie, from the beginning, both Democrats and Republicans knew the issue of redistricting might likely end in a legal battle. That's exactly what is playing out late today. We just got word that Virginia leaders plan to file that emergency petition to the U.S. Supreme Court. So, Julie, from all the people you've talked to over the past several months, is it really a surprise decision today? And this appeal, too, it seems like there was so much confidence among Democrats across the country and certainly millions of dollars spent.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But you know who's not surprised? Virginia Republicans. When I talked to them at every step of the way, they expressed supreme confidence that in the end, when this got to the Virginia Supreme Court and there was a ruling made, that they would prevail, and they were vindicated in that belief today. You know, they had waged a multi-pronged attack against this unusual redistricting process that Democrats used to push this referendum forward. They were pretty confident that one of them would stick with the Virginia Supreme Court justices, and they were right about that. Now, Democrats definitely surprised too on their part. When they say they checked with attorneys all along the way when they came up with this plan for the referendum. There was some worry before the referendum went to the voters that they might not win there. But when they wanted the ballot box, that really buoyed their confidence. They said to me on election night, surely the Virginia Supreme Court is not going to overturn the will of the voters. And they'd also said all along, too, why would the Virginia Supreme Court let this referendum, this vote move forward if they didn't intend to uphold it in the end? So a lot of surprise on the part of Democrats. I will say, sitting in on those oral arguments before the Virginia Supreme Court, Democrats brought in a top flight election lawyer. He made a very strong, persuasive case, but the justices had their most pointed questions for him that day, and that might have sort of been the beginning of Democrats having some doubt about how this would end up.
Right, hinging on the definition of what election is. And Julie, we know a final legal decision is no time soon. Can we talk about what this means now, though? So if today's ruling invalidates the newly redone maps hold, what does that mean for races this fall?
Yeah, well, we are back to status quo. And as you know, that is a congressional map in which Democrats have 6 seats to Republicans 5 seats. Now, Democrats think that they will be able in the fall to perhaps flip 2 of those seats even without a redrawn map. And that's because Abigail Spanberger, in her run for governor, won both the 1st and 2nd congressional districts. Those are both GOP-held seats right now. But this is going to create, if it holds, a real political mess in Northern Virginia. And here's why. There was a newly drawn 7th congressional district. Eugene Vindman is currently the 7th district congressman, but he would have shifted to a newly drawn 1st. And so in the 7th, at least a dozen Northern Virginia Democrats had said that they were going to run for that seat, some of them leaders within the party. And now that opportunity is gone. If the old map takes effect, as the Supreme Court said it would today, then Eugene Vindman stays in the 7th, and all those Democrats are left in limbo. So expect to see, if this decision holds, a lot of decisions to be made in the coming weeks, and a lot of these Democrats heading for the sidelines.
Yeah, a lot to process.
Yeah.
And we're lucky we have you, Julie Carey, to help us wade through all the details. Appreciate it.
And if I can jump in with one more thing.
Yes.
I forgot one more thing that's important for voters to know.
Yes.
In spite of this ruling today, the primary is still pushed off till August. So we're going to have a very strange August 4th primary. It was originally in June, but that's been pushed. And filing deadline coming up in just a few weeks for the congressional candidates who want to seek their party nomination.
Time is running out. All right, Julie Carey, what an interesting year this midterm is going to be. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Julie.